Sunday Meal Prep Live, everyone, and happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there, all the women who have stepped into children's lives as stepmums, and all the dads that are doing the job as a mum as well. So hope you all enjoy your day and get spoiled. I am going out with my daughter for lunch today, which is going to be lovely. So there was a couple of ways I could handle Meal Prep Sunday. I could go, oh, well, it's Mother's Day and I don't have time. Well, are we really celebrating mothers from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed? Or can we fit an hour or two in there still anyway? Because it might be Mother's Day, but the week still goes on and you still need to be prepared. I could have chosen to not to do meal prep today and done it yesterday. It's not like we haven't known all year that Mother's Day is coming and that we couldn't plan in advance for it. So thinking about these things and going, well, I'll prep the day before instead, or maybe I want to prep in the afternoon, or maybe you're someone who doesn't work on a Monday and you could prep on a Monday. Either way, you've known Mother's Day is coming and that you're probably going to be doing something and that you would need to think about your meal prep. The other thing I've done with my meal prep is I've made sure it's something super, super quick, not lots of components, so I can be getting ready for lunch. So my meal prep is actually in the oven. I don't have to be watching anything, and it took me 20 minutes to put together. Doing the same as usual, pancakes and berries for breakfast. Lunch is meatballs and sweet potato and fruit. So I've got some fruit prepped already. Sweet potatoes are being cooked in new batch. Meatballs just get done through the week, about 3 days at a time is what we do. So they just keep rolling over. And like they take 10 minutes in the air fryer, like literally pull them out the freezer and put them in the air fryer. So I don't really have to do much with those. So that's the standard there. I will probably tomorrow or this afternoon cook some cottage cheese for my training meal, but if that doesn't get done, it's no biggie because I have cream of rice that I can do. So I've got 2 different ones and that takes no prep. So my weekend is sorted. But before I get into what I have actually cooked for meals this week, for dinners this week, I just want to talk about last week's meal prep and how that ended up. Hang on, my sweet potato just dinged. Yes, so we've got some, I'll just get some more sweet potato on. The sweet potato I cut, ooh, that's hot, cut about that thickness. Just put a spray oil over the top so there's not much oil at all, and then just throw it in the air fryer, and I every 5 minutes just give it a shake until it's all cooked. That is how simple it is. So it's something that can be going in, I think I keep doing it because it's tasty. You can put any sort of sauces, condiments with it. And it's something that can just be cooking in the background while I'm doing other things. So the first thing I do in meal prep is I pull out my sweet potatoes, give them a quick peel and chop. They go in a big bowl and then they're in the air fryer whilst I'm doing everything else. And every 5 or 6 minutes I stop, give it a shake, turn it back on. It's really no hassle. It doesn't really take much time at all. So I think that's one of the reasons why I stick with it. So last week's meal prep that I did some turkey mince with some rice and vegetables. And I did it with miso paste, and I made a bit of a miso sauce as well. So the turkey was fried off with some miso paste, garlic, ginger, and then I made a stock and miso base sauce. So basically soy, a little bit of miso, beef, bone beef broth, and I thickened it, and some fish sauce as well. Now, Dean and I both suffered all week. I had super slow digestion and a lot of bloating. Dean was going to the toilet quite frequently and his stomach was just constantly gurgling. And to be honest, the farts out of both of us, woo! The only thing different we did was miso. So I've done miso before, but probably only for like a meal, not an all the week thing. Miso paste is actually made from soybean. It is a common thing that people can be reactive to. Having it once in a while is not going to hurt you, obviously, but we always do a test and measure. And because I eat things on repeat and when I say things on repeat, I'm not suggesting that you all need to find something that you want to eat and eat it forever. You don't need to do that. Yes, I repeat my breakfast and my lunch for months on end because I like it, and I am in a season of my life where I'm building the business and I'm quite busy. I normally would change things up a little more frequently, things like beef liver. Instead of having the pate, I actually take the capsules at the moment because it's just one less thing that I need to prep myself, but I still get it all in. So I'm actually quite happy eating like that. But if you can at least for the week eat the same thing and eat things on repeat, you will, if you're chasing fat loss, it will absolutely help with that. Your body likes consistency. You're not going to see the scale fluctuate anywhere near as much because of different types of foods, the way your body reacts, different levels of salt, different levels of hydration. So you take away that emotional reaction to the scale and all those sorts of things. But the other thing, and one of the biggest things I'm teaching my women in my mentorship, is how to read their own bodies and get the best out of them. Now, I'm not a food elimination person. Carbs are fucking wonderful for you. Please eat them. Yes, including white sugar. White sugar is fine, it is just energy. If you have it in a diet rich full of mineral and vitamin-packed foods like fruits and root veg and all those sorts of things, having a bit of fucking sugar in your coffee is not the issue, trust me. It's when the sugar comes with the shitty donut that's got all the preservatives and the seed oils and the crappy flour that's void of nutrients. That's the issue, not the sugar. So yes, I am definitely a person that is eat everything. We try and avoid seed oils because of the bulk production that happens now. Olive oil I use cold, avocado oil I use cold, but otherwise I use butters and coconut oils. And preservatives and additives in food, we avoid those as well, as much as reasonably possible. So for everything that's every day in my house and that I cook, it's rarely you'll find anything with seed oil and preservatives in it. I found brands and alternatives for everything. But if I go out or I have a meal at someone's house, or once in a while I choose something like miso and go, well, it's got soybean in it, but hey, you know, whatever, and do it once in a while, it's not going to kill me. Our bodies are actually, when they're functioning optimal and we feed them well, we nourish them with everything that we need, they are amazing at detox. So if you have some of that, it can deal with it and it's not the world's worst thing. So anyway, I chose miso, and Dean and we know, because everything is set and there was nothing else different in there, we know it was the miso paste that was doing that to us. And we know that it must have been something in the food that we were both eating because we both had the digestive issues. And this is what I teach the women in my mentorship. Find what's good for you. No, we don't eliminate entire food groups, but sometimes there are things that just don't agree with some people compared to others. And that's not an elimination diet or a restrictive diet. For example, I know I can't eat sourdough every day. It just slows my digestion down. Can I have it a couple of times a week? Yep, sure. But I've actually learned that if I eat it too often, my digestion slows down. Pasta, if I eat it, I get very, very bloated. Like within half an hour of eating it, I'm like 6 months pregnant because it upsets my digestion. Now, if I ate that every day, I would end up with some chronic inflammation. I would stop absorbing vitamins and nutrients as well, and it would have a flow-on effect to a lot of other things. One moment, my potato. So I just have it once in a while. I save it for like when we go out, we go to a beautiful Italian restaurant, I'll have a lovely glass of red wine and a beautiful pasta. Yes, I'll be a little bit bloated, but I wake up the next morning and I'm fine. But do I eat it all the time? No. But when you calm the noise down, right now, you are in perimenopause, you're feeling exhausted, you don't sleep, you've got bloat, you've got constipation, you've got diarrhea, whatever it is that's going on, you've got all these things going on. And all what I get is I eat clean, I eat healthy, I eat whole food. What does that actually look like? You've actually got no idea. You're either chopping and changing a lot, you don't have a record, so you can't actually marry up the symptoms with what food it is. And this is one of the things that I teach women. We clean up your diet. First of all, make sure you are eating enough in energy, so that restores that system in your body. We make sure that you are being nourished with all the vitamins and minerals that a female body in perimenopause actually needs to calm the hormones, help the sleep, help the energy. We look at the balance of each meal within itself, because the balance is very important. If you're not getting enough protein in a meal, you're going to feel like snacking more. If you go too light in the morning and then try and load all your calories up in the evening, you are going to be craving by the evening, and then you tend to restrict even more and try and pile more calories into the evening because you go, oh, I'm always hungry in the evening. But if you actually just front loaded your day and ate a more reasonable breakfast, it balances your blood sugar from the moment you wake up and those cravings calm. So we go through all these things and calm the fucking noise down. The noise that your body has with all these symptoms, you can't work out what's going on. So if you calm all that noise down, get meals on repeat that you like for a week, or even if it's 3 or 4 days, just depending on how you meal prep. I teach my women multiple different ways in meal prepping. I personally love to bulk prep on a Sunday and then not cook during the week. That is me personally, but there are different ways that you can meal prep. But once you do that, you can then see how your body is reacting to food. And that is exactly what happened to me this week. The miso, for an extended period of time, just does not agree with my digestion. It does not agree with Dean either, and he's pretty robust. You know, soybeans just not a fantastic thing. Yes, it's a tasty miso paste and it's great, but just eating it for a full week didn't work for us. So now I know. Does that mean I'll never ever eat miso again and go, oh my God, I can't? No, it just means I won't put it in a meal plan. And if I go to a nice Japanese restaurant that has miso in it, because I actually really like miso, that I would probably have it then. So I still get to enjoy it, but I'm just not putting it in my regular meal plan, so I end up like I did last week. So off the back of that, I've literally done my check-in this morning, and because I stopped eating the miso on Thursday, everything has started to settle down. So by the time I did my measurements this morning, all the bloat had dropped out of my gut and everything. So all my measurements were the same, but when I look at my weight for the week, it is up slightly. It's up by about 300 grams on the weekly average. But the thing is, at the beginning part of the week, my weight had escalated because of the bloat, because of the slow digestion. So the bloat is, inflammation in your gut, your extended, is going to add weight on the scale. And when you get that, your body starts pulling in and retaining more fluid because it's irritated and it's trying to get more blood pumped around your body. Those sorts of things are going on. And then on top of that, I had slow digestion, so I wasn't going to the toilet as well. So that is weight being held in your body as well. One moment, potato. But this morning I woke up, and even though it had started to come down, this morning I woke up and I'd had a really big drop. So I had a really big drop this morning, but I was really quite high on other days. So it looks like my weight was up a little bit, but because I've got all of my data and I follow my data, and because I've cleared all the noise by optimizing my body, optimizing my food, understanding my body and how it reacts to things and what it's likely to be, I've actually been able to go, I don't have to worry. I haven't put any weight on. I haven't put any body fat on. I haven't actually put any muscle mass on either this week, which is fine. I have just maintained, which has been the aim. And I just don't have to stress over the scale because I understand my body, and this is the sort of thing that I'm teaching the women in the mentorship. Get your food cleaned up, nourish your body so you get rid of all those symptoms, and then either you'll have some sticking symptoms left over that possibly you might need a gut map or some blood work or something like that done, and we target a few things just to give it a bit of extra support to heal through that. Or you clear them all up and then you're able to actually go, well, this is something that I just can't eat. And you do a test. I think it's this that's irritating me. I'm going to do a test and measure. So I've had miso before and it was fine, but I've not had miso for a full entire week, and nothing else in my diet changed. Everything else I've had before on repeat, eating for a week. The only thing that changed was the miso paste. And Dean was affected as well, and it's the same for him, so we pretty much know it's miso. Right, so we know now we don't do that. So this week, not only did I know it was Mother's Day, and I didn't want to be in the kitchen for too long, but I absolutely wanted my meal prep done because I don't want to have a wonderful Mother's Day and then go, oh, my week's all fucked and I'm chasing my tail and now I'm cooking dinner every night. no thank you. No Mother's Day lunch is worth that. So I've actually made sure I picked something that was super simple. Yes, I've got the potatoes on the go. Dean can keep them ticking over for me anyway. I'm about to go and have a shower and just start getting myself ready to go out to lunch. While in the oven, I have what we're having, and it's called a one-pan chicken curry, is what I called it. Very, very easy. An onion and the red curry paste I use. One moment, I'll get the tin. This is the brand of red curry paste that I use. It's got no seed oils, no soybean oil, anything like that in it. It's really nice and clean, and it's super, super tasty. And it's not overly spicy. Spicy, but not like blow your head off. So I've used onions in this, fried them off in a pan. That's in an oven-proof dish pan. So I've fried that off, thrown in some rice and some stock and some tomatoes and salt, then piled in some chicken thighs, covered it with foil and a lid, and it is in the oven till the rice is almost absorbed all the liquid, and then I'll put in some peas and corn and put that in the oven for another 5 minutes, and then bring it out and finish it off with some light coconut milk, and that's it, done. I'll just pour that coconut milk over, fold it over, and it's done. And then that will just sit in the fridge, and we'll eat that. The recipe I have is for 6 portions. We need 8 portions because we do Monday to Thursday meal prep, and then Friday, Saturday is fresh fish and air fried chips, and Sundays are whatever day, unless we go out for a meal during the week, and then Sunday's fish. So I tend to do 1 meal short, because if we do go out with friends or something for dinner, then we can just shift one of the fish meals. So that's how I do it. So that recipe I took and doubled, so it's going to make 12. But it means I can put some portions in the freezer, because the freezer is really low. So those Sundays where we haven't gone out for the weekend and had a meal out and we're looking for something to eat, we've got some in the freezer. And it's not required any more of me to double that recipe and put things in the freezer. Now, the great thing about this meal is, even though it's a 1-pan meal, you can actually still adjust the macros in this one. So I had in the original recipe, and I did it for clients, and most clients that start with me that haven't really been training a lot, start slightly on a slightly lower protein, and then as they get really training hard, sometimes they up their protein, and my protein's quite on the higher end, like the 140, 150 mark, but some of my clients are more on the 130 mark. So this recipe I made up, and it had 34 grams of protein in it, but I wanted just a little bit more for us, so I did increase the chicken thighs. But it's really simple to go, well, that recipe gives me this much, I'm just going to increase the chicken thighs for more protein. You can actually adjust the carbs as well. So even though it has the rice in it, all you need to do is reduce the amount of rice and a little bit of the liquid to go with it, and then you've adjusted your carbs. So it becomes something that's very, very easily adjustable. Even with the coconut milk, if you found, because it's a little bit higher in fat, this meal, so I've just made sure, like with my pancakes during the week, rather than putting 5 grams of butter in the pan and doing my pancakes with butter, I'll actually just put a really light, I've got some great non-stick pans, and I just put a really light spray. I use this non-aerosol spray bottle of coconut oil. Like, I'd be lucky if I get a gram of oil sprayed on the bottom of the pan, just one spray. It doesn't stick. Does it have as much of a buttery flavour, which I love? Well, no, but I need to compensate somewhere because we want to have the coconut milk in the evening. So that's a bit of a payoff that I've done there. Maybe I could pull back some of my chocolate instead, which I'm not keen on doing. Sometimes, because I don't generally have too many gut issues, I could pull back the oil on my coconut, on my carrot salad for the week, and just do vinegar and salt for it. So there's lots of different places that I could adjust the fat, but within the meal itself, I actually can adjust the protein and the carbs, and it really doesn't affect the recipe. So you learn how to manipulate those, and that's something that I show my clients later on when once they're up and running and they understand macros and they understand tracking, doing the meal type recipes, like the all-in-one type recipes, become a lot easier to do. But I do highly recommend when they come in doing the macro manipulation meal guide, which I've got. And to be honest, most of my clients just stick to that because it is just so easy, so awesome, and like super, super tasty. So most of them stick to that. And that's generally what I stick to as well. But this one's just really easy because it's in the oven now cooking. I don't have to watch anything. And now I'm going to hop off to a shower, get myself ready, and go out to a beautiful Mother's Day lunch. And meal prep is still done because I thought about it, and it is just a not negotiable for me. If you are going to get on this journey and you want to get to a health and a body that you really want, you're going to have not negotiables. And my not negotiables are, I go to my gym, I get my steps in, and I get my fucking meal prep done because it sets me up, all right? And then if something goes pear-shaped, I can just pull my food out the fridge, pack it, and take it with me if it's not if that's appropriate. That's always the first option I'll go for. However, if it's not, I know how to adjust myself for when things go pear-shaped or things change. So for example, for Mother's Day, we're going out to lunch. So I've just gone a little bit lighter on breakfast. I didn't cook with my butter. I didn't bother having the orange juice. I didn't bother having the maple syrup. I just put a little bit of monk fruit into the pancake for sweetening. And I reduced my berries a little bit. So my breakfast has been a little bit smaller. Then we'll go out to lunch. I'm not training today, so I won't have my normal training meal. I might have a piece of fruit if I'm a little bit peckish in the afternoon, a piece of fruit, and then that will get me through to dinner time. So I have compensated for the fact that I'm going out and it's going to be a larger meal. Now, we normally pre-track when we go out for a meal as well, so we know exactly what we're doing, particularly if you're in a fat loss phase or trying to reach body composition. I'm at a place now where I can just do a bit of compensation and go, I'll just won't have my afternoon meal, which is like my training meal because I'm not training today, and that just gives me extra calories for lunch, and it pretty much works out for me now. And my body is quite flexible, and I've got a body composition I'm happy for and muscle mass that I'm happy with, that I don't really need to do that compensation. I don't really need to do that pre-tracking to go out, but my years of pre-tracking before I went out, pulling up menus, having a look what was there, deciding what I needed, deciding what I was cutting back on for the day to allow for things in there, is what trained me to do that, to become instinctual. We've totally lost instinct eating in this modern world, and the reason why I track macros with my clients is because it brings an awareness to food to then let you go back to not having to track all the time, because that's ultimately where you want to go. I mean, I don't mind tracking, and I still kind of loosely track as I go. It's something that doesn't bother me. Do I need to? No, I don't. I can let tracking go altogether. I can go away on a holiday, not think about tracking, not think about food, just eat the way I know to eat because I've taught myself, and it becomes very instinctual. But you need to do the education first. All right, so that's today's quick live. I will put some photos up of the meal that I end up doing. I am about to pull it out the oven and check how far it is before I go for a shower. But other than that, happy Mother's Day to those who are a mother, stepmother, fathers who have taken up the mother's role. Good on you all. And if not, just enjoy your Sunday, and we'll see you next week on the next live.